Cyno, the big, tall, muscular DPS. I'll be showing you how to build him. So, let's talk about Cyno himself. So, his essential stat is crit damage. So, whichever one you need, like crit rate or crit damage, you will probably need rate more than damage because of that. And his weapon also has crit rate. Cyno is very much like a glass cannon. He does a lot of damage, and he can get knocked out easily with his combos. He's very strong otherwise, and he gets killed pretty fast if you don't have anyone to defend him. Let's talk about his talents. So his normal attack, you're not gonna need to upgrade it unless you just really want to. You're just not gonna need it. Unless you like really, there's reasons to get it, but no good reasons for actually like Cyno DPS. So this is his E. His E is really strong. I'll explain why later. It is definitely a priority to get this leveled up. I wouldn't call it as big a priority as his burst though, which is we'll start this. He has really good scaling, as you can see, and this is what makes him good. His burst. I believe it counts as normal damage and not burst damage. So you can use Dungeon. I think you can use Candace, but she's just not good with them. So keep that in mind whenever you're building them. If you're gonna use like a buffer, use Dungeon, or like just use someone who buffs normal attacks. Let's talk about his passives. So they're called Judgment. So pretty much, whenever he's in his burst, there'll be an eye that appears on screen, and if you click your E to that, if you press your E to that, you will do significantly more damage with this. Like, it will absolutely shred enemies. It will do this, which fires off 3 of these Duststalker bolts. That's heal 100% attack as electro damage. It does so much more. It's crazy how much damage it allows him to do with just by pressing his burst and his E. It's incredible. So pretty much, this will help with his, I believe his E, and it'll do more damage increased by his elemental mastery, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Yeah, it'll do more damage based on his elemental mastery, so you usually want to build him with an EM Sands. Don't look at mine. It's absolute hot garbage, but it's just the best on one I had. But you want to run EM Sands. There's like barely any difference with attack and EM. So if you have like a higher like base stat attack weapon, then you could run attack Sands like Jade, like the Jade Spear. But with like lower, you usually want to run EM, and especially with the signature, it'll just help make up for the difference. And speaking of sets, so his best you're gonna want to run is Thundering Fury. It's just really strong on him. He does so much damage with it, so that's what you'll want to prioritize pretty much. But if you have like a set for Gilded Dream that's really good, you could also use that. Thunder Soother is also a really good one that you could use for him. It's not as good as both of those, but it's also good. Alright, let's talk about his weapons. So pretty much his weapons are like, okay, so his free to play White Tassel, just get R5 White Tassel. It'll do pretty much as my R1 Deathmatch. Like, that's all you need if you're free to play. But if you're not, so pretty much your best one always gonna be Staff Scarlet Sands. The Staff of Scarlet Sands will always be your best option. Like, their signature will always be their best, so you're gonna want to run that. And his next best, I believe, is the Jade. His next 2 best options are Homa and Jade Spear. So you'll want to, if you have those, they're also really good with them. Then it goes to Deathmatch, and then if you don't have any of those, you just like White Tassel, and you'll be A-okay. Now, let's talk about his Constellations. So, C1, you get 20% extra, like, normal attack speed. It's really strong. But it's not as strong as his C2. So, pretty much, you just get to trigger 5 stacks of this for 4 seconds. You get 5 stacks, which gives 50% electro damage bonus, an extra 50. It's very strong. If you're gonna stop here. Like, if you're gonna go early, stop here. It will do so much for you. And his DPS will be significantly higher. I'm thinking of maybe pulling for this in a different video, you know, if you want to see it then. So C4. His C4, it's like a support. It's a support constellation. So pretty much he gives energy to his teammates whenever he does this. Like whenever he charges or whenever he hits on like overload, quicken, aggravate, or hyperbloom or whatever, any reaction, he will restore 3 elemental energy. It can happen 5 times and it has to be during his burst. And it's like, it's okay if you're struggling on EM problems with like the rest of your team, but it's not worth it. I would not say it doesn't buff his DPS at all. Let's make him a bit more supportive. His C6, it seems pretty good. So it gives you like a stack of Day of the Jackal, which pretty much you can get 4 stacks, and whenever he hits a normal attack, it will. Okay, wait, no, I'm sorry, I messed it up. So whenever you use his E during the passive where you do more damage, if you press it, then you'll get 4 stacks of the Day of the Jackal. Whenever you hit an opponent with a normal attack, it'll fire off one of the Dust Stalker bolts, which is pretty much what's used for his E. It sounds incredibly strong, but only a maximum of 1 Dust Stalker bolt can be unleashed this way every 0.4 seconds, as that says. So it's pretty good. It'll probably be his best, but I'm not sure. It just depends on how good it is, and we'll probably see how it is. We'll probably see how it is later. Let's go to his team comp. So I don't have a lot of things that are useful for his team comps, but so pretty much, usually you'd want to run like to help his EM problems. You either want to run Fischl or Beto.
All right,
so
let's go.
Beto's Q to charge him, it lasts longer than Fischl's E, and it's like they're both equally good options. So this just lasts for pretty much as long as his burst does. So you'll be able to support him longer and give him like, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but she'll be like a worse battery than Fischl, but she lasts longer.
Behold, the princess and talent.
Fischl gives more energy, right? But Fischl gives more energy, but she doesn't last as long. So if you have EM problems, use Fischl. Fischl is always going to be your best for ER. And so I'm running 120, which is only because of Fischl. I'd have to run so much more if it wasn't for Fischl. He has a really high burst cost, I believe 80. So you'll probably need Fischl if you want to not run EM stuff. So you always want to run Dendro main. You always want to run Dendro main character. Maybe when Sumeru's Archon comes out, she'll be better. But for now, we have Dendro main character, and he or she does incredibly well. You're just gonna want to press your Q and E and just switch away. That's all you need to, and then just let Cyno do the work. Now your last slot's flexible, so you could probably run like Kazuha. Sucrose also works pretty well. Either one. Another option is like Zhongli or Diona, like a healer. Or you could even use Kuki instead of Fischl. You won't get any energy though, but you'll get healing and the passive or the resonance. I personally like to run a shield, and Diona also heals, and I also don't have Zhongli, so it's what I have to work with. My Cyno is not exceptional though, so I'll run him, and I'll probably just hey, I want to take this time to just tell about his flaws and just his gameplay. So I just decided to keep that, to put the gameplay over it while I talk. So he does so much damage, but the problem is he just gets interrupted, so you should probably use his shield. And another major thing, if you don't have anything to deal with them, electro slimes, you can't damage them. Like anything that is like immune to electro, it's really, really hard to kill. And his normal attacks don't do damage. So you should probably prepare for that, and you know, just consider that. He's just really, really easy to push around. I don't know if I've said this, but he had no HP, like not much defense. The only reason why I have a lot is because I just had bad artifacts, but he's really, really good besides that. I would recommend him. His Constellations are good if you're a whale. He's fun to play. At least I like his style. If you play Zhao, he's kind of similar. What else do I have to say? Just kind of bring a shield or a healer. You should probably have Electro Resonance just so you can get particles and charge your burst faster. I think that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching.